Good morning. We're going to talk about open forum. This is an open forum. I wonder what this plus button does. Start a poll? No, I'm not doing a poll. All right. Good morning. I hope all is well. We have our coffee in the our Snorelord mug. I have to sell more of these so I can retire. Just kidding. I think I've sold 3. Anyways, good morning. Smells good. This is an open forum, and I probably should have fixed it. There's the notification, right? So let's open that up. Turn myself down. David Evers, TJ, I'm glad to see you. Let's put this on all messages. Live chat, chat filter, top messages. We'll do all messages. Holy crap! The rest of that branch just fell. Here, we'll go look at it. Here. I don't know if it'll. Yeah, I got the right shoes on here. So it rained this morning, so you can see my shoes are wet. I was gonna mow the lawn today, but I guess that ain't happening. That thing finally just fell the rest of the way. That's what that crack noise was. I was getting ready to cut this down today. I have to replace the chainsaw, or well, the chain on the chainsaw, which that'll be a YouTube video that I need to watch. And my wife broke down all the branches, but and stacked them on that trailer. But then these I gotta cut up. I don't know if I'll be able to cut these. The tree expert dude that came out here and initially got it off my roof, which you can see the dent on the deal. He said I could do that with that chainsaw. I just needed to sharpen the blade or get a new blade. So anyways, so that's what that noise was. Exciting, right? I'm going to show you guys something. And like I said, this open forum, so we don't have to talk carnivore or just carnivore. Let me rephrase this. We can talk about carnivore. We'll even talk about trucking if you want. We can talk about tools. We can talk about knives. I did break down and get something else on whatnot. And I keep forgetting to hit the free pickup locally instead of shipping, so pay a little bit more than I wanted. But anyways, so this weekend we're going to the fair. There's a fair here in Springfield called the Ozark Empire Fair, and there's always a knife guy. So TJ, the blue knife that you have, it came from that fair, right? There's that maker, and this is another one of his. This is my favorite thing that this guy has done that I've got. This is a Damascus blade. Check it out. And it fits the hand perfectly. Look at the handle. The handle is really nice. And this is one of my favorite homemade knives. Now the knife community would be like, shh, it's not a name brand, so it's worth nothing, right? But I like this. I mean, I like that shape. But look at the Damascus on that. And on occasion I'll carry it. Now it's got like a belt clip and where you can carry it scout style, or you can carry it up and down. And look at the stitching. Like they did like a TIG weld looking thing on the sheath, and it's real leather, so it smells good. I like the smell, and it fits good. It's got some retention, so it is perfect for carry. And I do carry it, but it is kind of bulky if you don't put it on the belt. The belt loop is kind of small because I have a wide belt. It's a tactical belt. So, but anyways, you could probably do a paracord and hang it from there. But this is one of my. I thought I'd bust this out because I know that there's some knife people that watch my videos or whatever. And I'm going to do a video of what I carry, usually, like self-defense and utility and all that kind of thing. So you carry you know, SST says it carry fixed blade. I get so excited I don't talk right. I just watched a video today about a guy that he was some EDC guy that talked about how he carried nothing but folders, but then went to fixed blades, and he had the 7 advantages of fixed blades. And what I have found is that folders they're cool, but I'm preferring fixed blades now. Number one, you get more for your buck. So if you spend $100 on a fixed blade, you're going to get way more knife than $100 on a folder. And I've already had 2 folders break on me because I actually do use them. There was an auto folder that it won't release now, so, and then I bought that one in Effingham. That knife guy in Effingham, he's a bit overpriced, but he's got some cool stuff in there. At the Petro there. I bought an OTF from him, which later on I was told that I paid way too much for that. So, you know, I don't know anything about that world, so, but live and learn. It was a Cobra Tech, which Cobra Tech's good, but it wasn't like very sharp right out of the gate. So I had them sharpen it for me, and then there was another folder that just died. It was a gas station knife. Look, I'm weird. I'll buy some gas station knives because I think they look cool, but for the most part, some of them are actually sharper. I've got this one. Check it out. I'll go get it. This is actually a $10 knife, and it's a spring-loaded folder, you know, and it's actually pretty sharp. Like, this will cut paper pretty good. I've used this in a couple of my videos opening packages, you know, and it's a $10, so I can beat the crap out of it and not be out. This is from Tac Force. Let's see. It's funny because they go, this is the Freedom or Speedster model. I don't have my glasses on. And then it's stainless steel TF702, so it's easy to sharpen. It's USA design, but it's made in China, right? This is a Chinese gas station, so knife, but it was like $10, and it's got a little glass breaker, you know, that kind of thing. So I already showed my feet earlier, but anyways, this is a cool knife. But so it's amazing what a $10 knife can be. You know, this isn't bad. It's one that I can beat up a little bit, but I prefer a fixed blade. That Tops saw, if you go back in my catalog on this channel, my Tops saw, that's my favorite carry knife right now, even over the Regiment. Regiment blade was the one I was carrying the most, but it's kind of cumbersome with the way it sits on the belt. And then the TDI from K-Bar, that's my second go-to right now. And then if I need to be more discreet, then the Regiment folder is next. So I do deserve more stubs. Not. Freight Agent, welcome back. Any machetes? I have, machetes are cheap. I have one that I've actually used in our jungle that we have in the backyard. I've actually used that. So, and then there's another blade. Where's it at? I'll show you guys something cool. If I can find it. Oh, it's probably put away in the garage. But it's a curved, and so it's really good for trimming grass where I don't want the weed eater to damage where it's near. So it does pretty good for that. So But I've really, so back to SST's comment, I really enjoy fixed blades more than folders. Folders are more like fidget spinners, you know. They're cool to like flip open and close, flip open and close, you know. So a lot of times when I'm waiting on an email, you know, I keep this by my desk. When on email, I'm just like you know, do like that. And then I'll try it left-handed, and then I'll drop it and almost pierce my foot, you know. Um, but you know, it's funny. I went to a knife show. Well, take it back. It was more of a swap meet. So it's a place where a bunch of knife collectors can go in and show off their collection and possibly sell and trade. And it was fun, but I felt like an outcast because the knives that I was most impressed with was stuff like this. There was one guy there that nobody was even looking at his table that had a bunch of stuff like this, right? You know, with a nice handle, you know, full tang design, and it felt good in the hand. It was pretty Damascus, you know. And meanwhile, a bunch of 18-year-olds playing with these Spyderco flippers, and I'm just like, it was almost like watching a bunch of kids with fidget spinners. And the guy that had the big Spyderco collection, because he used to be a dealer, um, he had all the attention. Now, the cool part about the event was that I can put like $1,000 knife in my hand and like go, wow, that's pretty neat, without having to buy it, which is kind of nice. But there's no way I would spend $1,000 for a knife. I hated to spend the 100 that I did for the Tops knife, but that thing has been super, super awesome. It's very, it's very nice. So I could beat the crap out of that one, and I know it'll take it. So, so let's give it the comments here. TJ, what's up? SST Truck with T-Bone, good morning. Jonathan Wheeler, good morning. I have a maple tree lying in my yard. Trade you. Hand saw for exercise. I'm actually that's actually what I'm going to do, David. Is there's a root in the front yard that I'm going to take an axe to, and it'll be a workout. So we have the same problem in our backyard: falling branches from a dying tree. You know what's funny is this tree's not really showing signs of dying. It's just the branch has just got too heavy, you know, with all the leaves. So it was a gentle wind that took it down. So like that big log I showed, it's actually pretty light. Like I can lift that. So it's we just have to be better about pruning trees, and I'm not an arborist. Is that what they call them? I'm not an arborist. So okay, so SST asks, are you shooting a traditional bow compound? So that is primarily used for BB guns. Now, I did buy for Christmas, I bought my wife a compound bow. I don't know if you could hunt deer with it, but it's definitely a good practice bow because my wife and daughter took an archery class, and they were kind of gung-ho about it for a minute. So I bought that compound bow and some practice arrows, which are basically blunt metal tips. And I didn't have a way to hang that archery target like I do now. And so we just had it against the tree, so she was pointing down, and she did okay, but there was one arrow, for the life of me, I don't know where it went. We've done the lawn, we've cleared the clearing, and we've never found it. So I don't know if it's somewhere in the car lot next to us or what, but we lost one of those arrows. And she hasn't really picked it up since. You know, she doesn't have the time. She's working on like 4 different things. I do have a regular bow, traditional bow, that I bought like at a yard sale for like $5. It's actually not bad. I could probably, you know, get some small game with it, but I don't have any like real arrows. And I do want a crossbow though. Not that I would do anything with it, but I think it'd be good to have, you know, just in case, you know, you run out of ammo, right? What's going on with the grill today? I made a mistake, right? So last night I cooked burgers for the family, and I had cut. So I bought a big brisket from a local butcher, and I cut it up in 4 segments. It was a 13-pound brisket, and the other 3 segments went in the freezer. And what I showed on the beginning of yesterday's video, I made the others in steaks, the last segment, and I cooked that on the grill, and that was a mistake because I cooked it too fast and too much. So it's edible, but it's not like cooking in a crock pot or in a Traeger for 12 hours. It's very hard. So, um, but we'll probably eat that today. The grill's going to take a rest. I need to clean it today because the burgers that I cooked came from Aldi, and those tend to flame up the grill pretty bad. They're really watery and greasy, and so I had flames coming out of this thing. So nothing's really going over the grill today. Bowtech for me, cool. Talk about the knife. Inside the waist with the loop on a pancake kydex. That's cool. What I might do is the regiment blade. I keep going back and forth. I put the Ulti clip on it, then it has the discreet carry mono clip on it, and then it has that. But I might go to a belt loop on that, like the soft loops, and see if that makes it easier to carry. So. Don't worry about struggling. It's okay. Yeah, fixed blade is the way to go. All my folding knives are in drawers, LOL, except one, right? I've been on the struggle bus for 10 days now. I've been a sucker for traditional slip joint pocket knives too. I enjoy a good canoe knife. Shannon, good morning. Marty says, have you ever thought about hauling sand in the oil field sandbox? No. I know so many people have done that, and they stop doing it. It tears up their trucks. It's hard life. You got to live out there. And most people I know that left the left the spot mark to go to the oil fields, they come running right back. Did you catch Gojira playing at the Olympics last night? Win for medal. Jordan, I read about that. So I might have to go and watch. There's probably a YouTube video on it. I might go watch that. That's pretty cool because Gojira is kind of what I call a sleeper band. So when they first came on the scene, they were kind of hard to grasp for some people, but their album, I want to say From Mars to Sirius, that album is phenomenal. It starts off slow, but man, it punches you. And the song, what's the song? I'm trying to remember the song, but I mean, I can picture the riff. They have some of my favorite songs, and so they had some death metal tendencies with a bit of Fear Factory to them. But then one of their albums they made when they were still dealing with their mom's death, because 2 of the guys are brothers, and that's a really good album as well. And I call them a sleeper man because they're usually not like in all the news feeds. They're not on anybody's top 5 lists until they remember them. Like, oh yeah, Gojira, yeah, I love them, And me being a Godzilla fan, you think I would be, thinking about them all the time. But that's pretty cool that France recognizes their, just like what Brazil does for Sepultura. They recognize Sepultura and treat them like we treat Metallica. It's kind of cool. Gary Bates says meat eating dinosaur day. Happy Me Eating Dinosaur Day. Oil field is getting automated. Did I hear that correctly recently? Frac sand and whatnot. I wouldn't doubt it because it's a hard job. So if they can automate that, then more power to it, right? Let me grab 2 more knives. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. All right, so this is the only self-defense folder I carry. This is a regiment blade. These guys need more attention. So the idea is you can hold a fist and boom. The blade isn't 4 inches, so that means it's legal to carry. And it's a button lock, so it's pretty solid. And what it is, well, I say that, and then now, now it won't hold back. Huh. Well, this just failed. See, folders? Folders are, huh. So I have to take that apart. Oh, here we go. It's got a double lock. It helps if I know how to use it, right? So you hit that button there, and then you hit that button. So yeah, this is a, as you can see, I don't open it a whole lot, but this one's kind of cool. I took this to the local knife store, and he had never seen this. And I took this to the gun show, and they're like, I've never seen that before. And this is what it is. It's a folder version of this one, which is a fixed blade. Same concept. It's pretty beefy. You know, it's got the ridges there. But this is the clip, right? So I've got the clip. That's the clip it came with. And within the first 2 weeks I had it, I bent that clip. So I took the clip off, put an ulti clip on there, and it would just flop over, right? So I was like, well, that defeats the purpose of if I have to wear a belt to have this. So I rebent this clip and put it back on. But the problem is it's very top heavy. So when you put in the sheath, so it's like it wants to do that. It wants to do that if, you know, so it doesn't go in the pocket very well. So, I mean, you can like push it off like that, but for the most part, it's meant to carry where you would put your firearm, right? So, and I'm not endorsed by these guys at all, but this is the one that I'm carrying the most, right? This is the fixed blade, right? This is my favorite. This is a Tops saw. This thing is awesome. I love this knife. It is heavy. Like this is something that, and the belt clip, it'll turn so you can carry it. Be careful here. So you can carry it this way or this way. I kind of carry it at a little bit of a slant, so it goes right here, and then I can just. It's funny. When I was at church last week, somebody needed something open. I just, what do you need open? They're like, whoa, dude. So, this is my favorite carry knife. So, but on occasion, I will carry this flipper. So, usually when I got to be more discreet. So it's a 2-step process to fold. Yeah, I mean it's secure. It's so secure that what happens is it bends over, so now the knife's upside down in the sheath as you get up. So unless you have it tucked in pretty good on your belt line, it 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 doesn't stay like that, right? So and then one time I was practicing drawing, and that's when I bent this, because I did this. That's when I bent this clip. So I haven't been carrying this as much. The TDI K-bar does a little bit better. It's the TDI. Oh, I forget what they call it, Investigator or whatever. It's like a smaller version with the same kind of handle concept. But these aren't a real popular knife. I mean, Regiment, the guy that runs the Regiment company, he's kind of it's kind of crazy. Like, he does all these test videos. He's like the current Lynn Thompson. If you know who that is, then you know what I'm talking about. So, but um and then I do carry a folder. I've got this little EDC pouch that I put in my pocket, and it's got a little folder in that. That's kind of cool. I did a video on that one too. Soft loops just require a belt, right? Yeah, and that seems to be the only way that this can carry, is either with this clip with the belt or with the soft loops with the belt. At least with the soft loops, it may not want to flip over. That's the only thing about this, because it's pretty heavy. Like, this part is heavier than the blade. And so when it sits like this low, it wants to, it's not very well balanced. Whereas something like this, you can kind of balance it better. So, but anyways, that's our knife minute. Fortunately, my waistline also requires a belt. Well, what's funny is there was an overweight guy that showed how he appendix carries his firearm, and he's a big guy, and he had a trick, and I'm having trouble with it, because you got to ride your belt pretty high, like an old man, like an 80-year-old guy in Miami. You got to have your pants up to your boobies, and and uh, and then when you sit down, you got to like set it, so you're always messing with it, right? Um, if I have it too low, it wants to dig into areas that I don't want guns digging into, and so I tend to be at 3 o'clock. So, because my belt I can't decide where I want my belt. With my weight loss, I can either, my stomach does this, right? It like, this is from the bottom up. It, like, my gut hits my belly, and then my belly kind of does this, and then I slim up. So, because I've got extra skin and fat right there, because I've lost, a bunch of weight. So my belt either has to ride above that layer of fat, or below it. And if it's below, that's when I print. That's where it's uncomfortable, the appendix. But if I do it high, then that hurts my gut after a while, and my back. So, and what's funny is there's a lot of these belly band companies that say, is it uncomfortable to carry? And I'm like, and I've tried a belly band holster, and what does it do? You have to wear it up high, and then when you sit down, it just folds over. And the trigger, it doesn't protect the trigger very well at all. And there's one called the Constantine Hunter, or whatever, that I'm thinking about getting, but it's like over $100, and I'm not rich. So I'll just do my, mono clip, discreet carry, and doesn't matter if I got shorts on with no belt or with a belt. So, but as far as the discomfort of carrying, well, life, we're not meant to be comfortable. Comfortable is a drug, and you don't want to be so comfortable that you forget you have it, because you don't want to walk into some place that it's prohibited, and then next thing you know, you're getting arrested because, oh, I forgot that was there because it was too comfortable. So, um, and that's these belly band sales pitches is, you're not going to carry if it's not comfortable. Well, then you probably don't need to be carrying, because if the discomfort of a belt is too much for you, then you have other things to worry about. So just carry it where you're comfortable. The print makes people more polite in general. Yeah, if you're trying to be, look, here's the deal, man. If I'm driving a long time, like when I went up to Louisville, when I drove up there, I had it right there in the front. I appendix that, but at the actual truck show, it was a pocket carry. So when I'm trying to be more discreet, I have it in a sticky holster, pocket holster. And yeah, the draw's a lot less, a lot more time on that, but the odds of me getting a self-defense thing is slim to none. Although I've gotten close a couple of times, or one time. So it depends on what I'm wearing. Like if I'm wearing these gym shorts and my wife and I decide to go for a walk, I'll pocket carry. Because I don't want to have the drawstring so tight that, I'm strangling myself just to carry going down the road. And then you have off-body carry, which I use that for the gym. Like I've got like a pouch that I use. You can call it a man purse if you want, but it is masculine, and it's not very discreet. But my other things are in there too, like my wallet and cell phone and stuff like that. Flatbed trucker, hello, Jerome, what's up? Good morning. So, and look, look. Here's the deal, man. I'm not an expert. I'm just some bearded dude on YouTube who's doing the carnivore diet, has a unhealthy fascination in knives, and has very little training on firearms. So don't take my word for anything. Big ol' boys just pulling their t-shirts over their belt carry full size. I do wear like I could fit in a 3X, but I prefer to wear 4X because it is inside the waistband, but I do put a shirt over it. I imagine that when I slim down even more, that I can probably get away with outside carry and just a shirt over it, which I do have one holster for my Canic that is outside carry. But I like to be gray. I don't want attention brought on me. Walmart doesn't let you open carry anymore. They don't care if you carry, they just don't want you doing it openly. And I believe in the whole gray man theory. You don't want to go in with the grunt style t-shirts and pictures of AR on your shirt and your hat, and you're going in there like, I'm concealed carrying. Oh, you don't want to be that guy. You just want to kind of, it's hard for me to blend in the background because 52-year-old death metal guy with a beard, but I do what I can for the most part. Is inflation outpacing truck rates? Where do you see inflation in 2 more years? Marty, at some point, it's got to hit a ceiling. And it all depends on what the election brings. Because without getting political, there was an interview with Harris where she was talking about inflation, and it was obvious that she had no clue what she was talking about. And when I look how business is done now, I mean, there's going to be a breaking point. Like, there's going to be a breaking point where it's not financially viable to own a business, and that's where we get dangerous. You know, if you're I mean, look at what's happening in California. The cost of food is so high that they're using kiosk and outsourcing order takers, or they're closing down restaurants indefinitely because they just, or you're paying $20 for a Happy Meal, which, you know, probably be good for us in a way, but when you look at what's happening in the trucking industry, I mean, you got labor hours of, you know, okay, so here's a perfect example, right? So there was a time where you can buy an old beater, pay 30 grand for it, and then make more money than a company driver. The system is designed now that you have to have a truck with a warranty, and the shops know that, so they charge out the yin yang. So now they're charging like $250, $300 a labor hour now. And the price of parts went through the roof when there was a shortage, and they never came back down. And it's getting to the point that you can't just buy a $30,000 beater and go in the spot market with a cell phone and make a lot of money. Now you got to have all these apps, you got to have these computers, you got to have the truck with a warranty, which has computers, and it's all electronic, and you got to have a good Wi-Fi, or a good ELD, a good air card, or a good cell phone plan, and it's harder and harder. So, but the election is going to determine a lot of things. And then DIY Semi did a video about deflation and when to look for that and what that means. And I'm no doctor or economist either. So, I love cheesecake. Can you desire to try trucks again? No. I have a desire to drive a cab over to truck shows, and that's about it. And that's weird for me to say because I've been in the truck since I was 7. I've been in the industry since I was 12. Rode with my dad coast to coast and did 47 states under my own steering wheel, and I enjoyed my time out there. But with the lack of courtesy, the lack of parking, the old school ways have died out, and so the appeal, the glamour to it is gone. If I do a day cab job, it'll be just a regular job. And I got into trucking because I wanted to get away from the factory work. And day cab jobs to me seem like factory work. You know, you're expendable, you do it as I say, you know, and I like being self-employed. Do I miss it completely? No. Like there's still a tiny sliver that says, wouldn't it be cool to wake up to this beautiful sunrise in Montana or something like that? Yeah, that's kind of cool, but I enjoy being home. And these last 2 years that I've been minimally driving have been tremendously important for me to be home with my family because of some situations that we've dealt with. And there's, you know, I look back, there was no way I could have accomplished some of the things I've accomplished if I was driving full time. So hats off to people that are still out there. Partly safety, but mostly greed. Gris Brown. $250 per hour, no thanks. I'm quite happy I don't drive anymore. When my CDL comes up for renewal, I'm dropping it because it has become a burden. I'm keeping my CDL. Look, I've worked too hard to let my CDL go. Now, I let my hazmat go, but I still got all the endorsements plus passenger plus school bus. So if I go driving again, it will probably be a school bus or a shuttle bus. Um, the trucking situation would be more. It would have to be the right circumstances, which I don't know if they even exist. What I would want, and I'm never going to own a truck again, unless it's an old cab over that I can fix up. But I don't have any mechanical ability, and I don't have the coin to go out and buy one. So that's probably a pipe dream there. What happens if the U.S. economy has another COVID-3 plus inflation goes sky high again? Marty, there will be chaos in the streets. I mean, the Floyd riots were a result of people at their wits' end and manipulation. So, the only thing we can do is stay out of debt, make sure your job's secure, and have some skills that you could jump to. Like, I can always, look, if light trucking ever goes under and none of the other trucking companies want me in their office, then I can easily go back to a truck. Would I like it? No. But, I would make the best, because if that's what keeps my family fed and supported, then I'm willing to do that. I do have some passion for trucking still. I mean, I do have a passion for trucking. I just, I would rather do what I'm doing now. What I'm doing now, I'm involved in the trucking industry, and I'm, like, this week was slammed. I have 7 trucks. I dispatched 7 trucks this week to the tune of $25K. And a couple of them, this is the best week that they've had. 3 of them, actually. So that makes me feel good. I'm part safety manager, part dispatcher, part counselor. Hell, there are times when I'm helping the driver navigate into a facility because I got the aerial view. Or hell, the other day I had to help the driver tell the driver how the dock needs to load the load so she wouldn't be over on her drives. So I was joking to Jeff that I'm now remotely driving trucks and remotely loading them. So, and I love that. But there's just too many important things here at home, and I see the negative effects of me being gone. It's now coming to light, and so now I've got to fix things. So, look at the history of Venezuela for where we go if the ship's course is corrected. Is not corrected. Yeah, I've seen U.S. recessions before, and it seems like the storm is brewing. It's been brewing for a long time. I had friends telling me 10 years ago that what we're dealing with today would be happening. Now, a lot of these, like Economic Ninja, a lot of these, fear mongers want to say that we're on the verge of this collapse, but there was an interesting video. You guys might have seen it if you're TikTok addicts. This prophet predicted the assassination attempt almost to the letter 4 months ago. And he talks about, he's predicting that Trump will be in office, and within 2 years of being in office, that's when the big, huge economic crash will happen. And that was something that was kind of in my mind a couple of years ago. And we'll just deal with it then, have your rice and beans. I know that's not carnivore. Have some sources of protein that's non-perishable, packed away. Have a full freezer. Have a generator to run that full freezer, and get your credit cards paid down, and don't buy any $100,000 F-150s, and save your money as much as you can, because you're going to need it. The Simpsons was right. LOL, right? Flatbed trucker. Having savings is huge. When I first month into the spot market, I just bought a trailer. My truck was only, I was only a year into my truck payments, and I busted my leg, and I had to sit out a month. And we weren't worried financially at all. And we probably could have gone on for 3 months. And a friend of mine that is very well off, he goes, "Hey man, if you need help, don't hesitate to call." I'm like, "Man, I'm fine." He goes, "How is that?" I said, "Man, my wife listens to Dave Ramsey, and we don't live beyond our means. We don't have the expensive $50,000 to $100,000 cars, All of our vehicles are paid off, and our house is nearly paid off, and we paid modestly for it. We're fine." He's like, "Wow, this guy's from overseas, right?" So he's like, "You're not like most Americans." I'm like, "Well, I haven't, there was a time where I maxed out credit cards. Trust me, I've had my issues." We had to physically freeze. Like, this is before the online, before you could really buy anything online. I physically freezed the cards in water in the freezer. So if you wanted to use it for emergency, you could thaw it out. You didn't want to cut it up, but it was a pain in the butt. So you couldn't do any impulse shopping with the card. We literally did that and paid off $35,000 worth of credit card debt off in 2 years. That was before I was driving a truck. TC Boggs, the Marxists are trying to overload the system to bring about their utopia from the ashes. Also, they won't allow deflation. 34 trillion cannot be paid off with a strong dollar. Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, I'm not an economist, but what you're saying, though, is we're really good about creating the problem so we can come in and solve it, right? That's what government does. They create the problem so they can be the saviors. And I believe that that's, the next crisis is going to be manufactured, and it's going to chaos. As Testament would say, chaos rules the underground. Elder paranoid. That's where we're at. With birth rates taking a dive, how does that affect the economy? An example of average new car is 50K. It's not the birth rates that is bankrupting our system. We're going to go to food now. If you look at the extensive cost of healthcare and the fact that most parents are going to outlive their kids, if you could get rid of diabetes alone, that would right the ship economically. So I want you to think about this. Oh, what just happened here? I want you to think about this. So there's an article about Ozempic, and they said that Ozempic is threatening to take away this fad keto diet. Well, keto diet's been around for, a long, long time. You can find old documentaries in the 40s and 50s about low carb diets curing a lot of ailments. So it's not a fad diet. Is it trendy to put hashtag keto on everything? Yes. But it doesn't make it a fad diet. Now, Ozempic costs roughly about $1,000 a month. And you got to stay on it. And it has all these adverse side effects. And how many millions of people are overweight that they want to prescribe this to? That is a lot of money. And I don't know if you guys realize that Big Pharma is so powerful that they're on the USDA, they're on the FDA. They got board members all over the place. And it's the fox watching the hen house. And the reason why our medical care healthcare system is going bankrupt is because there's not enough money coming. There's not enough, like, people are too reliant on it, and it's overloading the system. And so people want to still eat their cakes and their fruity cereals and all that, but just take Ozempic. They'd rather pay $1,000 a month. So I had a friend of mine that lost 60 pounds with the keto diet. He goes to his doctor. He's trying to get off his metformin because he's type 2, right? And the doctor's like, wow, you're doing great. We can cut your metformin in half. That's beautiful. And I believe the cost was like, I think $5 a month or something like that for him. But then the doctor was like, hey, even though you're doing good on your own on losing weight, you should look into Ozempic, which will cost him $75 a month after insurance. So the doctor was trying to prescribe him a false way of losing weight when he's already shown success doing something natural. See, here's the problem here's the problem today. People think that they can do better than God, right? They think that their medicine is better than God. They think that they're like, hey, you're 8 years old, why don't you use your gender? No, God's already chosen that, right? There's so many people walking around that don't believe who they really are. They've been lied to, and it's sad. You know, you're being told that you are not the person that you are, and you know, depression is spiraled out of control, drug use is spiraled out of control, and diabetes is spiraled out of control, metabolic disease is spiraled out of control. That's the true drain of the system. But that's the system that's creating trillions of dollars of profit to big pharma and big food. This carnivore diet thing that I'm on is an act of rebellion. It's an act of rebelling against a system that desires to enslave you and lie to you. Someone trim that, because that's the truth right there. You see a box of donuts, I see a box of slavery, anger, fear, and poison, right? And that might seem extreme, but you know what? It's the truth. I mean, you know, if you didn't watch my carnivore video, I showed the list of ingredients on the Hot Pockets. It was like as long as my hand. People are like, oh, I'm eating this, you know. And look, people don't, you know, if you're sitting there eating a hot dog, you don't want somebody going, you know, there's guts in there, right? You know, there's like entrails and stuff, like, you know, you don't want that. So these videos don't become very popular. And I get it. I understand, right? Oh, you guys have been commenting like crazy. Keto diet is what we put my mom on after she had her stroke. It reversed her diabetes too. Monier's wrath. She went from type 1 diabetic to type 2 and not having to take insulin all the time. There you go. Baby boomers are the first to get in human history to have it better than their parents' generation and their children's, right? If they got rid of diabetes, it would be amazing. I take Ozempic for my diabetes, not for weight loss. And there's a natural way to do that. And I have tried everything to get rid of my diabetes. Monier's wrath. Flatbed trucker worked for my mom, and she suffered from diabetes, stroke, and stage 3 cancer. We put her on a keto diet. Now she's type 2, recovering from her stroke and reversed her cancer. $4K a week as an owner-operator, power only. Is that still in the green? Well, I mean, Marty, that's I don't know. Is it? If you're tracking your numbers, that should be an answer for you. For some people, that might be in the red. For some people, that might be in the green. For some people, that might be abundance. Although she was never numb enough to take the Jabberwocky gene therapy shot, so you know. So you know. Right? And look, I have nothing against, flatbed trucker. Don't take offense that you're, that, you know, about the Ozempic. And I get it. But is that sustainable, right? Just like a bariatric surgery, um, there's a person I'm talking to that's like, I was talking to her and she was like, I'm at my wit's end, so I'm getting bariatric surgery, and the hospital won't do it for one reason or another. And so I started talking about the keto diet. It's like, oh yeah, keto diet. I lost 60 pounds with that, but I fell off the wagon. I'm like, then you can do it. Look, it's an addiction, right? I didn't realize that they were using Ozempic to regulate diabetes. So, again, I'm not a doctor. I just know that the side effects and the cost is enough to make me go, you know what? I'm just not. I'm going to try not to take that if possible. I don't even like taking. Like I don't take Tylenol anymore. I'll have ibuprofen on occasion. So. But these are just my thoughts, man. I'm no expert, but we won't get too crazy with my real theories. So I'll just keep those to myself for now. But I'm glad, Wrath, that your mom is getting better. So that's cool. I know that my mom's dementia got worse after the vid, and she was eating nothing but processed food. She'd buy like 2 pounds of fresh hamburger and then stuff like Hot Pockets and pot pies and box fried chicken, that kind of thing. And so when she went to go move in with my sister's cooking more natural food for her, and I think it slowed it down. So, I mean, look, they call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. So when you think of the inflammation and all that stuff, and look, if you're just watching me for the first time, I have a 40-day carnivore journey that I'm on that I'm doing a video every day for. So I have to You ever notice that the chat kind of stops chatting? Like there's some messages that don't come in. Okay. UFOs don't exist. I don't have a dog in that fight. So advertising has been used to make people think that things that taste like crap literally are good for them and taste great. That's true. That's true. So I obviously been down those rabbit holes, Wrath, right? So I don't want to butcher the first name. And once you go down those rabbit holes, you're like, wow, we've been lied to for the last, 100 years. They've normalized Hot Pockets and Lunchables to be the healthy options to steak and eggs and, chicken with no breading on it. It's kind of weird, right? So, but, anyways, we're halfway through. 21. We're on day 21 of the carnivore journey. Not sure what I'm gonna do for a video. The challenge part of the challenge is finding something to talk about every day. I'm down to 283. Yesterday it was 284, so the weight's going back down. If you're new to my channel, I was once 380 pounds. I think at the end of the 40 days, number one, I'm not going to do a video every day, but number two, I might incorporate like avocado, maybe strawberries, maybe a Brussels sprout or two. So, what's the target weight? That's a good question, TC Boggs. I've been as low as 255 on my first weight loss journey. I would like to get to 225. I would like to wear a 2X shirt comfortably. And still can still carry with the 2X shirt without printing. 225 would be with some muscle, right? You know, Shannon Thomas, she's got this fancy scale. She sent me a link. She's like, "You got to get this scale. It's like $350." But you hold this thing and it measures your fat, your BMI, your muscle mass. You know, I don't know if it does bone density. I mean, I think it takes expensive machines to do bone density, but at my age, you know, bone density is important. You know, because here's the number one killer of old people. Falling down, breaking their hip, breaking their knee, shattering their shoulder, shattering their arm. That's the number one cause of death with old people: lack of mobility. And when you're 300 pounds and you fall down and you break your hip, I mean, that's why I busted my ankle. I twisted my ankle on a curb, and that was when I was at my heaviest, and went over, and if it wasn't for my weight, I wouldn't have broken that part of my ankle. Had I been stronger, I wouldn't have broken that part of the ankle. So the gym has to come back into play. I've not been good with the gym because my schedule's been too chaotic. I know that sounds like an excuse, but you know, there's, like I said, there's a lot of things going on right now. But the target weight is 225. I'll be happy with that. You know, when I can comfortably appendix carry. So that's kind of where I'm at. Mine is 150. Shannon, good to see you. I didn't know if you're in here or not. Yeah, you've probably said what you are now, maybe, but you don't have to say. Right on, you can do it. You've got a strong willpower. How's your weight loss coming along, TC? Now let's talk about weight loss or willpower. Willpower is not as weak as you think it is. Willpower is being manipulated as we speak. Willpower, you can't sit there and tell an alcoholic, well, you just don't have any willpower. Because they're already past a certain point of addiction. And that addiction becomes way stronger than what willpower can do. You can have great intentions, but eventually there's a physical aspect to the addiction that takes hold. When people go on a carnivore or clean keto diet, they find themselves having withdrawal symptoms, just like someone quitting fentanyl or someone quitting alcohol. TC says down to 334 from 360. Excellent. It's going to take a whole minute, but it's coming off. Good deal. And what what slows weight loss down is ingredients. Like, you know, like even diet sodas. First of all, once you haul hazmat, placarded loads, once you go into that warehouse there in Edwardsville, Illinois, and smell the chemicals that they put in Diet Sprite and Diet Dr. Pepper, you're like, it smells like bug spray, right? But there are ingredients in that diet soda that still make it addictive. Um, you know, throughout my 20 videos that I've done, I've talked about different effects of different, foods. Like the things that they're putting in animal feed so the animals will eat. So what? They get fatter. How do you fatten a cow up? Grain and corn. How do you fatten chickens up? Grain and corn. You give them lack of exercise. So it only stands to reason that the same thing's happening to us. And instead of for slaughter, we're being well, we can cure your arthritis with this drug. We can cure your diabetes with this drug. We can cure your osteoporosis with this drug. And oh, you get cancer? We've got a drug for that too. My dad got lung cancer, started chemo right away, and within 9 months he was gone. The chemo killed him before the cancer could be killed. Sugar, starches, seed oils, and people will fight you. People will argue. People will get mad at you for pointing out what should be obvious. Because it's addiction. If you tell an alcoholic, hey, you shouldn't be drinking, what do? They get all upset and defensive, right? Well, it's the same thing with the other foods. So. Shannon, will you be making a video? Her videos do way better than mine. No, actually, those are like $50 now on Amazon. Don't buy a $300 one. It's just a waste of money. We have one. It costs $50. Had it for years. It's a scale that does BMI, body weight, bone density, and water weight. It costs like maybe $70, I think, on Amazon now. TC says, yeah, I'm having to add a scoop of unflavored protein powder to a packet of sugar-free oatmeal. Add 60 grams of protein per scoop. Protein is definitely important, but my protein has to come from meat. So, I don't know what they spray the oatmeal with. That's the thing. Maybe on the next 20 days, I'm going to get into dextrose and maltodextrin and the sorbitol and those kind of things. Erythritol is derived from corn. Allulose is a sweetener. But honey is your most natural and probably healthiest sweetener. So if you're going to go the oatmeal route, get plain unflavored oatmeal and just add honey to it. You're better off with your blood sugars with that. Because look, anybody like me who's obese, you have an insulin resistance problem. It's a hormonal imbalance, not a caloric imbalance. You can't eat meat yet for another couple of weeks. Then I can have shredded meat like tuna. Oh, did something happen, TC? Did you get teeth rebuilt or something? I'm sorry, I haven't been keeping up with your channel because I think I'm still subscribed to you. I'm subscribed to 1,000 channels and they're all screaming for my attention and I might watch 5 and then I'm wasting time with recommended shorts. Had bariatric surgery on. Oh, okay, I see. Okay. Well, good luck. I hope it works. I know bariatric surgery has helped some, but I know others that it hasn't because they didn't change the root of the overeating problem, the insulin resistance. Josh the Vegan, what's up? But yeah, I would try the unflavored oatmeal with no chemicals in it with honey as the sweetener. And that will be better for your blood sugar than the diet stuff. But the protein stuff, that's probably a good idea. I mean, that's just my suggestion. I'm not telling you what to do. You know, I'm just like I said. I'm just a 52-year-old death metal guy that is eating meat for a living. So, not for a living, but to live. So that's all I'm. That's me. It was a last resort. It had to happen if I wanted to remain working. And it's understandable. I know several people that have lost their CDL due to their health, and we definitely don't want that now, do we? You know, that's the thing. Some people get off the road and they can be lax about their CDL. Not me, man. I'm still faithful to my CPAP, and I'm still faithful to making sure. I only get a 1-year card anyways because of the CPAP, but my blood pressure's always been good. My BMI last count was not BMI. My A1C was 5.1 last November when I measured it. So, what does my breakfast look like? At lunchtime, it's usually 4 eggs, and if I got any meat cooked, maybe a section of that, or bacon. That's it. But I primarily, when I'm in the groove, I'll have 4 burger patties, 4 eggs, some bacon, and that'll tide me over till about 6. And then I might have a little bit of something, like either hamburger or some salmon, and then if I eat it all. So, driver shortage in 10 years. Well, I don't know what to say about that. That's why they're, I don't know, won't get into that. They'll have a solution for that. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. And look, hey, there's a driver shortage that makes us truck drivers, or else a CDL holder, since I'm not driving right now, more important, right? Isn't that the theory? Create the problem, find the solution. Yeah, I saw your breakfast, Shannon. That's pretty good. I'm glad that Foreman grill I gave you is doing pretty good. I have an air fryer the same size that I had in the truck, and I think I used it 3 times. It was just easier for me to use the Foreman. And I used foil on the Foreman, so the cleanup was even easier. The good thing about the Foreman is it traps all the grease, so you can use that. You know, you can put that in a cup and save it and use it for whatever, or you know, if you're. And look, here's another tip. And TC Box, you might want to try this too. You can't eat meat right now, but can you drink bone broth? Can you do something like that? There's a really good broth, Kettle and Fire. You can find it at Walmart, most grocery stores. It's the only one that doesn't have like modified food starches or corn solids or anything like that. Yeah, air fryer is just for steaks, ribs, and chops. Man, if I knew, like I said, if I knew, I would have just given you mine, because we have our kitchen was designed in the 60s, right? So it doesn't have a whole lot of counter room for all these modern appliances. And so we can't be the family that has a microwave, a toaster oven, galons, an air fryer, you know, the deep fryer, you know, like everybody has like these appliances, right? We have a microwave and a coffee maker, and that's it. Old school coffee maker, not none of this Keurig crap. And my opinion. But anyways, so I haven't brought that in from the truck to use it. There's just nowhere to store it in the kitchen. So, so I would have given it, and it's pink. It's pink. Pink or red. So you would have loved it. But the Hot Logic Mini, if you guys can't cook with major appliances in your truck, the Hot Logic Mini is perfect. It requires just a regular, it's got a 12 volt version, but there's also a regular plug-in version, and one of them plug-in inverters, like those 80 watts or the 150 watt inverters, will power this thing. You put a couple of frozen burger patties in it, seal it up, put it in the thing, go down the road, 8 hours later, your stuff's perfect. I thought Jeff was full of it when he was using one, but then he gave us one year. He gave us all the contractors one year as the Christmas bonus, and I used the hell out of that thing. Egg yolk, butter, and salt is the best steak sauce now. Yes, it is. What I like doing is I like breaking the egg yolk over the burger. You know, so like when I was laid over in Denver on the way back from Nevada, Elway's restaurant was there. It was pricey, but I had burger. Burger was thick, and I had the what they call the Denver burger, and it had an egg over medium or over easy egg that was on top of the burger. That was perfect. Unfortunately, though, I ate the bun and the fries, but I was hungry and I was stressed out, and I wasn't on this challenge yet. That's why I waited until I was home after the 4th to start my carnivore challenge, whereas Shannon's got a few days on me. So. But anyways, guys, I think I'm going to end this video. I need to make it back public after I end it. So thanks for hanging out with me on a Saturday morning. I know I'm not the most interesting person, but maybe I've made you think about a couple of things to make you go, And that's my only intention. I'm not doing this to be famous. I'm not doing this to be rich. I'm not doing this to be powerful. And we've covered a lot of ground. We've talked about my ridiculous obsession in knives and my ridiculous diet of eating nothing but meat and ridiculous things about trucking. So I appreciate every single one of you. Happy Saturday. Strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Read the good book. Peace.